Welcome back to another installment of our likes and dislikes of one of our cruises.
Yes, and this time we're talking about Grandeur of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean's smallest and oldest ship. Hi, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Marshall.
And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we like to cruise and we like to share the ships, tips, and trips all about cruising.
This cruise was special because it was our anniversary cruise, but it doesn't mean that we didn't have some likes and dislikes. So I think it's time to get started.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
First, let's start with the dislike. Sorry, not to be negative, but because it is an older ship, it was built in 1996, there were some parts that were starting to show their age, their wear.
Yes, not so much in the public areas, but in our room on the balcony, which by the way, we love the balcony, so check out our room tour. It's awesome. But there were places that were showing rust and it was getting kind of old, the draws and things like that, which is understandable for a ship that's over 20 years old, but it was beginning to show its age.
Yeah.
If you've watched our other videos, you know I'm a sucker for that promenade on deck 4 or 5, depending on the ship. Well, Grandeur does it right. It's 100% teak, and other Vision class ships don't even have that. So you could walk and do your laps around outside completely on the old-fashioned wood teak feel. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, it was nice walking on the teak, looking up at the stars. Like, I don't know, it just felt very reminiscent of another time.
Yeah. And there's more craftsmanship because you can actually see where every time they screwed down one of the deck boards, they put a wood teak plug.
Yeah.
It was kind of fascinating just to watch how they did it.
Yeah. Our second like should actually be a love from my perspective. As we said, it was our anniversary cruise and we wanted to do a specialty dining on our anniversary night, which we love Giovanni's table. And I was just so impressed that even though this is the smallest ship in the fleet, they had 3 specialty restaurants. They had Chops Grill, they had Giovanni's Table, and they had Izumi actually. So very impressed, and we got to have our Giovanni's anniversary dinner.
It was wonderful. They treated us wonderfully. It was delicious. And again, I like that you had these options. Moving on to another dislike, I'm going to call out the Crown Lounge, the Loyalty Lounge for folks on Diamond, usually Diamond or above. First of all, its placement was just odd. It literally looked like it took a section out of the lounge area on the ship. So it was just odd, and it wasn't a full wall, so you could hear what was going on in both places.
Yeah, and it was close to like the stage in that lounge. So if there was a show or karaoke or something, you're basically walking right up really close to the stage to go in and get a cookie or something. I don't know, it was odd.
And we also discussed that the size did not seem appropriate for the amount of people on that ship. So a small ship, a small lounge, but it felt like it was really too small for the amount of people.
Yeah, I went in there once, I think, and got a cappuccino, and that was pretty much it because it was just too small. It was always full of people, and that's not my vibe.
A very big like was the staff on Grandeur. I think we can always say staff's always a plus, always a like, so this was just one step above. I think the people were tremendous, and I also think the fact that it's a smaller ship, you get to see the staff a lot more. So we need to give 2 thumbs up for the whole staff experience on Grandeur.
And we did fall in love with some in particular, our wait staff, Lloyd, and then in the morning we either had Lloyd or Russell in the dining room for breakfast. And it turns out they're roommates. So I don't know, it was just so amazing. It felt like we actually got to know them And I think because it was a 9-day cruise, and Grandeur is going to be coming into Tampa in a few months, so we know we'll see them again.
Let's also do a shout out to our room attendant, Christopher, who for our anniversary did the most amazing spread on our bed with the love swan towel animals and
rose
petals and even a Royal Caribbean bottle of sparkling wine with goblets. It was spectacular.
Really special to come back from the show that night and see that. It was just such a special gift. So yeah, thank you, Christopher. So our next dislike is honestly just a personal preference for us, is that we enjoy music. So, you know, singing, dancing, whatever, things involving music. And for the headliner shows, there seemed to be more of other things, like whether it was a juggler or a magician or, what was the other thing? Oh, comedians. We're not really big into comedians, to be honest. We like to laugh, but I don't know, when sometimes comedians make fun of people or whatever, we're just not into that. So we would just prefer more music. Our next like is that, you've already mentioned it, the ports of call were amazing. And because it's a smaller ship, it can get into some places that maybe the large Icon and Oasis might not be able to get into. So that was awesome.
The best example of that is when we pulled into Dominica, the actual dock is all wood. It's the first one we've ever gone to that's all wood.
Yeah.
And it was only 1/5, maybe 1/4 of the length of the ship. So the ship's hanging out on either side, and you have this little wooden dock that you get out of.
It was cool.
It was different, it was cool. And it set the vibe for Dominica being this kind of half unexplored, half wild in nature sort of visit. It was different, and I'm really glad that we took this smaller ship so we could get into Dominica.
Yes, and speaking of Dominica, we did go on an excursion and we filmed it for you, so stay tuned for that video coming up soon.
Yes, because that didn't make the likes because it's a love. So definitely keep looking for it. The next dislike doesn't really affect us, but this ship has limited space and features that are child-centered and child-focused. They have their ocean adventure area, but that's really about it. So no sports court and no splash pad. So I'm sure kids had a good time, a great time, but we just need to let you know that it's lacking compared to other ships.
And there was no mini golf either, right?
No mini golf.
Yeah.
General like of the fact that it felt like a relaxed, older clientele vibe, which was just wonderful. We've been on ships like Independence of the Seas, out of Miami, short itinerary, and it was fun, but kind of on the wild, crazy side. So this was noticeably different, and it was definitely a like.
Very enjoyable. The next one is kind of a pet peeve. The entire cruise for 9 days, there was no chai anywhere on the ship. So every time you ordered a chai tea, they said we're out of chai. So then continuously every day, other people were coming up trying to order stuff, and it was like, we're out of chai, we're out of chai, we're out of chai. The entire trip.
Okay, so I have to just remind you, that first day we got on and I had one chai tea.
Yeah, that's right.
And then they were out an hour and a half later.
The food on Grandeur is a definite like. It was very good, and the chefs I don't like my veggies al dente, so they even cooked special plate of vegetables for us every night. So I don't know, it was just, the food was really good. I don't know what else to say besides it was really good.
I agree, and there's some touchstone types of food that it's the same menu, but you can tell that it's done differently or better, and that's the case from the bakery goods, the breads. Everything was larger and just done at the right temperature. It really excelled in my mind.
Yeah, they must have like taken like the extra time to cook it well and to plate it beautifully. I don't know, it just stood out to us. Yeah.
Another like was the spa. I guess that kind of goes in with the staff. They treated us really nicely. They worked with us. We had a couple issues of timing, and we actually changed our massage twice. And they were very accommodating, and it was just a wonderful experience. And other times it's good experiences, but this one excelled.
And even apart from the staff, just wanted to let you know that there are saunas on board, and there, if you go into the spa and keep going over to the right, there are saunas, one for men, one for women. So we couldn't go together, but at least there were saunas there, and I think they might be maybe a little hidden, so people might not know about them.
So as you've heard, right, it's a 9-day cruise, and we do like to get our exercise in. So we had some sea days, and we had some days in the gym, and the gym is small. And that's not a dig, it's a small ship, but they try to really pack it full of equipment. So everything really felt tight.
Yes, so I almost like touched elbows with the person on the next machine. So I don't know, the machines were just too close together and made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. So if you're on this ship, try to schedule your workouts on times that are not that crowded. You'll probably enjoy it that much more having a little bit of elbow space. We did talk about aspects of our cabin, which was a dislike, but I'm going to go back right now and say that the balcony of our junior suite, our aft balcony, was a love. It was the largest balcony that we've ever had, and we used it the most, and it was a corner balcony, so we had views of the aft going, looking backwards and also off to the side. It was wonderful.
Yeah, we had room for multiple lounge chairs and then the table and sitting chairs also. And I think what stood out was it was wide, but it was also deep. So that was different for us.
I can keep on going. It also had an area that was covered.
Yes.
And an area that you could get out and look directly up and get a lot more sun. So you had shade and sun pretty much all day long.
And you know what we did too? At night when the stars were out, we took 2 lounge chairs and put them, out closer to the railing where it was open sky. And we laid down and looked up at the stars. It was so special.
Yes. As you can tell, this was definitely an anniversary cruise to remember.
Yeah. The other thing that I like about this class of ship is that in the theater, there's no stairs to walk down to get to a seat. So I love that. When you're wearing heels, it could be a problem for me. And then secondly, when at times I've had a foot issue, having mobility issues, it really stands out to me, these places that are more accessible. So very much appreciated that this class of ship has no stairs.
And I'll also add, the aisle is wider, the seats are wider, and your drink holders are wider. So it's 3 wides to make this alike.
Yeah. Something I'm exploring a little bit more as we cruise is the casino. And I'll just say it was a little disappointing that it kind of makes sense because it's an older ship and the HVAC system is not as advanced as some of the newer ships, but it was difficult for them to get rid of the cigarette smoke smell in the casino. So I went there less often than I might have wanted to because of that issue.
One of the likes that's specific to our experience in our cruise is we wound up on deck 7. And for us, that was amazing because we were only one deck down to get to the public areas of 6, then 5, then 4, and only 2 decks up to the public areas to start with the pool deck and on from there. So honestly, I don't think we used the elevator once.
Oh, the only time might have been when we came in from a port, like an excursion or
Right.
something. We were on deck 1 and we wanted to get to 7, so we might hop on an elevator then, but
I actually think it was because we were going from deck 1 to deck 9 for the ice cream cone.
oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Yeah.
that's what we needed, that ice cream cone fast. So we were
Stat.
we were walking up these 8, 9 decks.
Screw that.
As we mentioned, we loved our cabin, but there were some issues. One we already mentioned, right, which was the fact that it's showing its age a little bit. The other one is, as great as an aft cabin is, you tend to get some more fumes when you're coming into port, backing in, and etc. So a couple times during the trip, we did get that diesel smell in our cabin for a short amount of time, but it was noticeable.
Yeah, we at least wanted to let you know about that. We posted our room tour first, and then this is something we probably, in hindsight, would have wanted to say in the room tour, but just keep that in mind for this ship and the type of fuel that it uses. If you're in the aft and you're backing into port, you will get those fume smells.
Now, would we not book that room because of that? That room was pretty special. So I think we would just be aware of it and still book it. We already gave a like out to the staff, but I also want to give a like out to the accessibility of all the staff. It's a small ship. You can do different things. They do different things. And the first thing we noticed within an hour of us boarding, Jamie, the cruise director, had all the heads of the just hanging out in the Centrum in a meet and greet. And you didn't need to have a loyalty status or anything like that. They were just there for about a half hour for anybody who wanted to come over and say hello.
Yeah, and that was nice because you could have a little chit chat, and they were very friendly and outgoing, the officers. And then, that was day 1, and then for 9 days, you would see each other in the hall and like, oh, hi. Well, I don't know. It was great to have that access. And then when we saw Jamie, he had been our cruise director on Odyssey of the Seas when we did a transatlantic. And transatlantic cruises are very special anyway. So I went over and was like, oh my gosh, it's you. So we chatted for a few minutes, and then he was telling me that although clearly he's on Grandeur, the Captain Merrick on Odyssey of the Seas requested that Jamie return to Odyssey of the Seas as the cruise director. So Jamie, if you are a Jamie lover, he will be back on Odyssey in December of 2025.
Jamie and Captain Merrick are really a dynamic duo if you ever get a chance to sail with both of them on Odyssey or anywhere else. It was quite a special transatlantic, and part of that was because of both of them.
Yeah, and speaking of musical numbers on Grandeur of the Seas, Jamie is a singer, so he actually did sing a song. Was it the farewell show?
Yes, he did a great job on the farewell show. We've seen a number of 70s and 80s shows at the Centrum or the Royal Promenade. He held court on the 70s show on this cruise. So it was quite special.
Yeah. So those are our likes and dislikes of Grandeur of the Seas. Hope this was helpful to you if you're thinking about sailing on that ship.
It was certainly special for us on our anniversary cruise, but let us know in the comments if you've had a great experience, you have your own likes, dislikes. We'd like to know.
Thanks for watching.
Take care.